People need an independent financial advisor because they need clarity and they need action when it comes to their financial planning. Financial matters can be complex and scary. They can also be overwhelming. I find that some clients, they're so scared about it that they have brain freeze when they look at their pension valuation statements and don't understand any of it. And the tendency is then to hide or to not take any action. I think a good financial advisor helps you to clarify your financial goals and to help you to take action and execute them. So I basically get stuff done. The services that I help clients with are mainly around investing and retirement planning. I also help with mortgages and protection. I specialize in ethical investments and I really enjoy helping clients to invest in line with their values when it is important to them. I also think that a large part of my role involves behavioral coaching. So it's not just about financial planning. I think the majority of my role is really about behavioral coaching, which is helping people to avoid big mistakes. We can be quite irrational and have a lot of behavioral biases when it comes to making financial decisions. For example, a common one is that we care so much about losses, so much more about losses than about gains. So the pain that we feel from making financial losses when our investments do poorly is much greater than the pleasure that we get when our investments go up in value. This leads to us making decisions such as getting out of investments during weaker market times, which is not necessarily wise. My job is to help clients overcome these fears and make rational choices with a long-term horizon in mind, explaining to them that over the really long term, stocks always tend to rise in value, and to stay invested and to keep calm. It's also important to know thyself and to have a healthy self-awareness, to know what triggers you, what causes you fears, in order to have a healthy relationship with money and to be a calmer investor. I think the important principles about investing are understanding what risk really is. The most significant risk of not investing at all is missing out on the enormous potential of human ingenuity that is business. A lot of people misunderstand risk as taking a capital loss by investing in stock. When I say stock, I mean the asset class, not a single stock. The real risk is not investing because your money does not then keep pace with inflation. It's outliving your savings and it's decreasing your purchasing power over time. When some people think of managing their financial affairs, be it investing or looking at their outgoings or looking at how much tax they pay and whether they can save any of it, they can find it quite dull and boring. Some people procrastinate, waiting to make the best possible choice at the best possible time, which is, I think, quite impossible. Some people hide their head in the sand and just don't want to look at it. And in general, I think people feel quite anxious when they don't know exactly what their goals are or how they're looking to plan for it. And yet there is a sense that they need to do more or they need to make their money work better or work harder. I have a lot of empathy for my client's situation and I know how tough it can be. I really enjoy making it as simple and clear and engaging as possible and helping them understand financial concepts so they feel much more empowered, both about their money and their life. I love it when clients leave my meeting room and say, "Oh, I feel so much less anxious. I feel like I'm in control of my financial situation. I now understand what I'm doing about my pensions," or "Thank you for taking a load off my back." I'm also a practitioner of nonviolent communication, and I believe it really helps me with my work to understand my clients' deeper needs. I'm always listening to the layer underneath and the meaning of what they're saying to me and helping reflect back to them what's important to them. I think it also helps me to cultivate a lot of empathy and my listening skills, which is quite valuable to a client. When people delegate to a professional like me, they also free up their time to spend time with their family or focus on their livelihood, which is usually their passion. And I love it when I can contribute to them feeling more empowered in their life and money, and I have a real passion for it. Conscious money is one of my favorite topics. I define conscious money as having clarity on your money-related choices, be they earning, saving, spending, or investing. There's no real prescriptive or right method. It really depends on the individual and what they feel is more liberating for them. I also see it as a process of confronting limiting beliefs and understanding your own patterns, whether they are unconscious or conscious, habits, and weird idiosyncrasies around how we do money. I discovered when I started my own business that I had some barriers to money. Being a financial advisor, being financially literate, you would think that I would be quite enlightened on these matters. But it was only about 4 or 5 years ago that I discovered some major blocks. I had no problems asking for a fat fee when I worked in a bank, a major financial institution. But when I started my own business, I really struggled to say what I would like to be paid. And I had major under-earning issues. In the process of discovering my own relationship to money and liberating myself and learning so many different ways to overcome it, I've gotten really good and experienced at it. It's something that I enjoy. So I offer workshops and spaces where we can talk about this topic. My favorite part about being a financial advisor is meeting different kinds of people and having very intimate conversations with them about things that are meaningful and important to them, like money and life. And this is a topic that is traditionally quite taboo in our society, so I really enjoy it. I also love learning and teaching. I used to love reading books as a child. It's just that I've switched from books like Enid Blyton and Hardy Boys to non-fiction. I'm quite obsessed with reading books about business, investing, the stock markets, and finance. And I don't think every client wants to get so involved in the details, but it really helps me to understand the financial concepts clearly and be able to deliver information to them in a way that they can easily understand and absorb. I got into financial services by sheer grit and determination. I was working in a customer service job, answering emails behind a desk for an e-commerce company. And prior to that, I worked in a car sales job, and I really missed the interaction, the adrenaline, the dynamics of meeting different people, and I wanted to get back into face-to-face. It just feels more alive to me. And I applied for this role through the HR company. India was just opening up in terms of globalization, and there was a private life insurance company that I applied to. The HR sent me a polite no, and I didn't give up. I knew somebody from my car selling days who was heading the bank assurance team. So I got my CV to him, he got me an interview, and I got a job on the same day, and I just never left. I love it too much.